Village Vision podcast where community collaboration and care converge. I'm Dr. Crystal Morrison, and I'm honored to be your host on this incredible journey. As a firm believer in the power of a united village, I'm thrilled to bring you inspiring stories, research, and projects that break down barriers in child and family care. Through heartfelt conversations with experts, advocates, and those with lived experiences, we'll showcase the transformative impact of collective support. So join me on the Village Vision podcast as we explore the remarkable collaborations that lead to better outcomes, foster a sense of community, and inspire action to improve care for ourselves and everyone around us. On today's episode, I'm here with my friend Kelly Cain. Kelly is the Executive Director of the Autism Caring Center here in Pittsburgh. She's also a trainer and advocate for all things related to autism awareness, acceptance, and support. Welcome, Kelly.
Oh, thank you. I'm excited to be here.
Awesome. Well, as with everyone that we talk to on the Village Vision podcast, you have a deep personal story about the work that you're doing today. Obviously, you are the executive director at the Autism Caring Center, but there's a big why behind the work that you're doing today. So can you share with us a little bit about your personal story and the why behind your work?
Yep. August 2006, my son, who is now 20, was diagnosed with autism. When they told me his diagnosis of autism, I had no idea what it meant. I just knew at that point in my life, I was a seasoned mother. I have two older children. And I thought, well, if we could just get them to talk, I could fix it. And I went into it kind of with that attitude.
You were talking about your son. Let's talk a little bit now about the work of the Autism Caring Center and the services and supports that you provide here in our region of Western Pennsylvania.
Right. So we were founded in 2017, really to fill in the gaps, right? You experienced them, I experienced them. So a place that you can actually call and somebody will answer their phone and that you can talk to for a little bit about what's going on, where to get resources, a place to be social without the judgments or stares or rude comments, really to try to help moms and families connect and find their tribe. So resources, advocacy in schools, social opportunities, not just for the individual, but for the family, which I think is really important. It was palpable. Yeah. And somebody came up to me and said, can you have another speaker and maybe some vendors next time? And I was like, really? Like, and then somebody was like, do you think maybe we could spend the night here? And I was like, so I had a few women reach out to me and they said, we think you should do a conference, we'll help. And I was like, really? You think I'm going to do a conference? Okay. Because as an executive director, you stand alone a lot. And I thought, and then I thought about it and I'm like, I could do it. I could figure it out. Like, it's figure outable. Like, I know that's not even a word, but
it's a great word. It's figure outable.
We're special needs moms. We could figure this out.
That's right.
It's a conference. So there we did. Yeah, we had a conference. We had about 100 moms in attendance the first year. Last year was our largest. We had 130. And we had a great time.
In my journey as a mom in having a child diagnosed with autism, this was the first time I had sat in a room with other parents and shared some very difficult, ugly things transparently and openly. And not a single person looked down on me in any way or thought that I was crazy or a bad parent. Every single person had experienced something similar. And there's this immediate camaraderie of understanding the perspective we were each coming from. And I think a lot of parents really hold back in being honest. And this conference was the first time ever in my 20 years as a parent that I really felt like I could share that really awful story about, the cracks in the cereal bar or, violent meltdowns, and I was not going to be judged. And so, if for those of you who are listening, independent of where you are in the United States,
Right.
if you're looking for something to truly find a tribe, to truly find a no judgment zone, a weekend of sharing, but also a weekend of celebrating the milestones that we've all reached, celebrating the victories and the small things that we've all seen. I
Yeah.
mean, it's really about that, and I encourage you
Yeah.
to check it out.
It is necessary to save our children's lives, whether they are a year old or 20 years old.
Mhm.
Um, there's a lot that our kids missed out on fire safety in school, understanding the police when they get pulled over, the sensory issues that come along with all emergency situations could really send our kids into a behavior, whether it's elopement, a meltdown, aggressive behavior,
Mhm.
that first responders need to be aware of so that it's not thought of as a behavior or an act of defiance.
Right.
Know where to look for those individuals, recognize the characteristics,
Mhm.
and lead with some tips and tools. I love doing that. That's my favorite part has become my favorite part is really getting into the training, because I think our kids and young adults or adults have done enough
Yeah,
um, to be able to function in our world. We need to try to function in theirs,
that's
and
right.
providing that training is going to help us as parents leave them,
Mhm.
go away for the weekend if we can, or, no matter where you're at, you want to be able to know that the person that's going to be responsible for rescuing them or helping them in a car accident will be able to understand what's happening to them.
Right.
So I really think the first responder training is necessary, as well as paraprofessionals in schools.
Mhm.
I think that they're with our kids the most, and they should have the most knowledge about how to respond to them.
Mhm.
So,
That's great.
yeah. And the speaking is just upon asking, and it just depends on who I'm speaking to. So,
Kelly, thank you so much for joining us today on the Village Vision podcast. I'm so grateful that you shared your story, your experience, and you're continuing to contribute in so many ways.
thank you. Thanks for being here. I really appreciate it.
You're welcome. Well, thank you for joining us on this episode of the Village Vision podcast. I hope you found inspiration and valuable insights from our conversation today. If you've enjoyed today's episode, please subscribe, rate, and leave a review and share all of the things. But thank
Mhm.
you. Thank you for being a part of the Village Vision podcast. Take care, and let's keep shining a light on the power of community, collaboration, and care.